Hello, everyone. My name is George Guerra. I'm the broker of RESF here in sunny South Florida. We're here to talk to you about operating at the speed of now, specifically recruiting and retaining talent in 2021 and beyond. I am here with two of my good friends, Sven Anderson and Stephanie Anton, from Boston all the way to Austin, Texas. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Let me start with Sven. Sven, do me a favor. Let everybody know a little bit about your background and who you are before we get started.
Sure. My name is Sven Anderson. I've been in the business for 20 years. I run a team of 10 right out of Boston, Massachusetts, just north of a little town called Winchester. We did $99 million last year in sales. We're on track to do double that. So there you go.
I love it. Stephanie, you give me an update. Talk to me.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've also been in the industry about 20 years, so we're equally aged that way. I love it. I currently work for Corcoran on the Realogy side. So I have two roles, actually. I'm the SVP of the franchise for Corcoran Franchise. We started growing into franchising earlier in 2020. And I also see international service for all the other Realogy brands. So happy to be here today. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. You know what? I'm going to jump straight into the meat. And I'm going to start with Stephanie. Stephanie, with the reach that you have and what you see in your position, talk to me a little bit about recruitment when it comes to best practices and best tips.
Sure. Gosh, do you have 30 minutes?
Come on,
There's a lot.
You got it.
Okay, cool. I think the companies that I have watched as the best recruiters are very consistent. They do a couple of things really, really well. I'd say the first thing is that they have a very clear brand message and they can articulate that in a point of view. So it's naturally a differentiator. So really, really important to kind of understand and be able to speak that in an elevator speech. They also have dedicated recruiting resources. So it's, yes, we all have managers that recruit. They might have a recruiter or one or two managers that are dedicated to recruiting and doing that on a regular basis. And then last, I would say they have a plan and they have accountability for that plan. And, frankly, if you're an Inman attendee or any, other event, there's lots and lots of training on putting together a recruiting plan. And there's things in place, like if 2 people call 3 people a day and X number of calls a month, we'll have X result, whatever it is. I don't care what it is, have a plan and be accountable for it to ensure that you are all meeting your goals together. Those 3 things I think are killer ways to develop great recruiting.
I love that. I want to remind everybody that there's a live chat. If you can be so kind and put your name, the city that you're in, and some information, we would love to know where you're from. Also, if you have any questions, we have people manning the questions. So again, shoot us the hard questions. We're here to give you the answers. Sven, you're next. My question to you is, where are you finding talent today? What are you doing to attract that talent to your company? Can you give me some insight on that?
Absolutely. What we've done recently is we've, with everything that's happened in the world, we've actually found an influx of solo agents looking to gravitate towards a team approach because they want to have support and accountability. But also we're finding some people from some different sectors, and one is in the hospitality sector. So recently we hired our marketing person from a hotel in Boston who was on furlough. We also hired our listings coordinator from the Ritz, and we also hired we have one person from the Four Seasons and another person looking to join us in the near future. So the hospitality sector is huge because all of this stuff that's happening, people are rethinking their careers, and we're finding that when you're approaching that, it's a pretty interesting world. And we also find that the people in these particular sectors are really humble, but they're hungry and they have a servant mentality, and that's what we really want in our world. So
listen, I think with unemployment as high as it is, and so many people out there, I think real estate is a phenomenal opportunity for those that are service-based. And I can imagine just giving them that opportunity, show them the road. I can see how that pays dividend for you.
Hey, George, sorry, can I just comment on that really quickly? Because Sven, I think it's brilliant, right? And hospitality, but it's interesting, the brands you mentioned are all high service and high touch brands. And so there are companies that, the Ritz thing, the ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, like that gives them service DNA. Some of my folks on my team will know that I often talk about the fact that I love to hire people, whether it's as an agent or, in a marketing department, that waited tables and loved it. And the reason for that is because They are people that A, are motivated by money, B, high service, and C, they do their job better when they're in the weeds. You know, because when you're waiting tables, if you have one table, you horrible service. But when you're slammed, you kill it. And they all make great agents, the great same assets.
So true. And what we're doing is we're actually going deeper. We're actually finding these people on LinkedIn and we're actually connecting with them that way. So it's and then we're doing that from a recruiting standpoint. It's pretty cool.
Great tip.
You know what, Sven, I want you to harp on that from a recruitment perspective. When COVID hit, we've lost that face-to-face ability for the most part. We've had to explore different avenues to connect with people. You know, what are you doing differently to recruit nowadays?
Yeah. So, you know, what I found is that a lot of agents don't have the right training in place. And so what we're doing is we've set up a training tool for everything. So every single time I'm doing script or role playing with the team, or I'm teaching somebody about the Chris Voss negotiation strategy for mirroring and doing some different things with our team, we're videotaping everything. So we're building a video library, which is really powerful because when new agents join, we're actually taking this video and actually just putting it into Trainually, which is a training tool that allows them to be able to go through certain segments and track them. And what it does is it lets them understand the success of that training. So we're doing some different things, like we're talking about how do we future pace a client? What do we do with that? How do we actually set up the first initial phone call to then move to the next phase? And what does that look like from a future pacing standpoint? And we teach all of that. And then we actually are using little snippets and putting it out on social to let other agents know that we're actively involved in that. So we're not giving everything, but we're using little snippets from these events and pushing it out there, and people are reaching out to us. It's pretty neat. Different.
Stephanie, you know what? I asked him a little bit about outreach. I want you to talk to me a little bit about retention and culture. You know, how important is that? What have you seen out there in the landscape that has really moved the needle throughout our industry that you can share with us today?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? Retention, it's all about culture, because I think when you build culture, you build loyalty, and that's retention. And so when people are connected to you emotionally, and it's such an important, you know, piece to understand, is that you can make an intellectual connection with someone, but emotionally is when people will stay. It's when they'll even make, you know, irrational decisions about staying, when they're emotionally connected. And so whatever you can do to build that culture is huge. So I think there's a couple things that go into it. First, I would say it's about recognition, and it's recognition in 2021. So it's not just about having your annual awards ceremony. That's great, and I think it's important, but recognition is it's something that you need to do year round, and you need to build it in, particularly with your top producers. And I've spent a lot of my career working with top producers, and I can tell you, they want to be treated differently, you know? So you have to recognize them. You have to put plans in place, give them things like, you know, badges that they can use. And I'm not talking little like awards logos, but, you know, a group that they're in, that has a special name to it. Things like opportunities to network with their peers, really important for that, you know, for those special groups, giving them a higher level of support. And then I'll also say, like to Sven, to your point, to be inspired by industries outside of real estate. And I'm like you, also hospitality. And so I look to say, you know, what are the brands that I'm most loyal to, and why, and what do they do for me? So for me, it's Kimpton Hotels. And, you know, they have, like, when back in the days when I was traveling, they would have, you know, fruit in my room because they knew I liked fruit. Like, it's a $2 fruit plate, but it made me feel special. And so it made me engendered loyalty. And then I think coaching and being available, which, you know, I can talk more about, lots more about. And then education is a really important component to that too, building culture, because, you know, you have to make sure that you are creating an environment where it's really easy for people to be their best self and beyond their best self, whether it's technology, whether it's marketing, education, you know, a learning environment is a great way to build culture.
That's awesome. Sven, let me ask you a question from a team perspective. Talk to me about building one and enhancing the culture within one. What are you guys doing there to do that?
Yeah. So, you know, this whole pandemic thing's changed a little bit of what we're doing, because in the beginning, since last year, we would actually give all of our team members the ability to pick one thing that they want to do a month, and that would be what we do as a team. So for instance, one time we did an axe throwing competition. Somebody wanted to do that. So I pay for it, and we actually let the team do it. So somebody else just wanted to go for a long hike, and we've done that. We've done a ping pong tournament. We've done different things to stay connected in the virtual world. So we just did our virtual bingo event, and all of our teams part of that. But we've also done some things. We did a virtual scavenger hunt with our team, with our clients and our team. In addition to that, we need to do something for our clients and our team per se to stay connected. So what I did is I hired a local chef. So it did two things. It gave somebody some access to some funds, who's a local chef, a friend of mine that I played tennis with. And this guy basically came along, packaged up all of the goods for a bolognese making class. So wine and bolognese was delivered to each one of our team members' house with an Italian cookbook, and it was delivered, and off we went. These people we had such a blast learning how to make bolognese with chefs. So there was, and their spouses were involved. So they're like, this is pretty cool. So it was, you just got to think out of the box. And when we get back out of this, we're going to go back to this monthly event for our team. It builds camaraderie, it builds connections, and it builds that relationship that you just didn't have. And so I'm super excited about trying to get back to that, because that's a big piece of the puzzle in terms of how you connect with your team and stay that way.
No, listen, I agree with you 100%. I'm reading through the chat, and obviously the hospitality sector struck a chord with the audience. You'd be surprised how many people are popping up saying, yeah, that's where I came from. Obviously, like Stephanie, you said, that service background definitely does pay dividends within our industry. So again, huge opportunity. I think that's a great golden nugget, Ben, that I'm taking from here. I'm going now, and I'm going to check the monster.com ads for restaurants and see if I can slide some people towards my way.
Hey, George, can I share one other thing too? Like Sven just gave a great example. That's an awesome example of what you guys did with the bolognese class. I love that. I don't remember who did it, and I apologize for not giving them credit for it, but it was a broker. Maybe I even read about it on Inman, that they went out and the Go Local campaigns, they went out and they bought Go Local cards, basically like gift cards for their local restaurants. And then they gave it to their agents to gift to their clients. And so what a beautiful way to do exactly what you did, Sven. So they invested in their community, but also made their agents the heroes. And I thought it was a really bright way to make that connection.
Yeah, I just think if you can do something locally, it's huge. And I kind of want to just circle back, because I missed one approach to something I said, and I know, George, we're circling back, and I don't want to take it that way, but I wanted to provide it because I talked about the training video clips, and you asked how do you capture people, and we took a different approach, actually from George's handbook. Listen to this. So we use a different approach to get more attraction for our clients, and I kind of just passed over it because and I don't know why, but we've taken an approach where we're using the desktop, the inbox, and the mailbox to connect at a really high level with agents. And at the desktop level, we're actually putting some social connections out there. And when somebody's either hearting or liking a post or actually commenting on a post, I'm actually engaging them and DMing them directly and just saying hello. In addition to that, what I'm doing is I'm just building rapport to say, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing. Because when I'm doing some different things, like I'm doing posts, Stephanie, to your point, on my Instagram page about one of our team members who got through a 32 offer process and got their client the deal. So what I also do, we talk about that DMing and social piece. We also talk about the inbox. So we're sending email newsletters to people, and we're putting on the bottom of it our training schedule for the month of what we're doing. And that training schedule is talking about how we're using the Chris Voss real estate training program for future pacing, for leveraging our connections and our education with our clients, and also all the other pieces. So it's a specific newsletter for agents about coming soon properties and everything else. In addition to that, we're doing a mail campaign that talks about the differences in a visual for a solo agent and a team and an agent in a company as a visual, like what it is at the nucleus of what we do and all the services that we offer, different from the world of what they might be in. So it's a three-pronged approach in that level to engage those agents and stay connected. And for George, thank you, buddy, because that's helped change what we're doing, how we're doing it, my friend. It's really been powerful.
Well, listen, I think that's why we're here in Inman. Inman has given us this platform where we get to share golden nuggets to make our business better. We know that there's really no secrets in our industry. It's really about hard work, being smart and putting things together. And again, it's about, sessions like this that move the needle. So, it was my pleasure giving you that nugget. And trust me, I got 100 nuggets from you in the past. So it was my pleasure just to share that. Stephanie, anything that struck a chord that you wanted to comment on? Because we do have to talk to me.
Totally. Well, so I mean, like DMing someone, I have to say, like, you ignore all the Facebook, all the email that comes in. It's just spam, right? And so like, it's easy to delete something, but I'm almost hesitant to say this now, but I mean, I pay a lot more attention when someone DMs me, and especially if it's on Instagram, less, because on Facebook, you don't see it a lot because it goes into like, if you're not friends with that person, it goes into a weird folder. But on Instagram, I find that I see it. So I think that's a super smart way to do it. It's just it's a way to stand out and connect. I really love your idea about engaging with them and then just commenting. I mean, that's a silly little thing, but that's a great recruiting tool, but it's also an amazing retention tool, right? Because it's a way to stay in touch with people. So some of the other things that I think are just smart and really easy to do and thoughtful are if you're targeting a specific group of agents. So let's just say, again, we talked about recruiting. Recruiting takes dedication and it takes rigor. And so you have to put processes in place. And so one of the ones that I love people do is they set up a Google alert for a top agent that they're looking to recruit. And just every time that person's in the news, shooting them a DM or a message or a text, or just making sure that they remain top of mind. Connecting to them on Facebook, giving them kudos. And then, an oldie but a goodie, and I'll just remind everyone about it, is to reach out to the agents that are on the other side of your agent's transactions. So if you're a broker and your agents tell you they did a great transaction with someone at a different company, sending them a note of congratulations and saying, how did we do? But also continuing to do that with your agents too. So don't just do it to the agents you're trying to recruit. Make sure that you're giving that same kind of attention to your existing agents too.
I think those are awesome, phenomenal golden nuggets. Guys, it makes you want to turn around and pick up the phones and slide into people's DMs right now with some great content.
Don't hurt yourself.
Clearly, you know how to do it. You're building the right platform there, my friend. So you're doing the right stuff, which is awesome.
Well, listen, one thing that's consistent within our industry is that it's always changing. The way that we're interacting with people is changing more than ever. Our message is more fragmented than ever. We just have to, take a look at where our audience is, diversify that message, and try to find a new way to be consistent. And I love when you mentioned the mail piece, Sven, because you know what? Sometimes you got to go back into the old school to shake up and reset the system. People forget, you got to bring it back, sort of, I think all those little golden nuggets, anything that you do different, anything that you create consistency in within your target, I think those are golden nuggets. I think we have right now 186 brokers here, or agents that want to be brokers, that either know or are going to learn this lesson that recruitment is one of the most, and retention is one of the most vital parts of any brokerage that really keeps you afloat. Whether you make it or whether you break it, is your ability to recruit. And that doesn't stop there. Your ability to retain, which is just as hard as recruitment, is the other leg. So man, I know that all ears are on us. Everything we say, people are hanging on to. We have, I think, a minute left or 2 minutes left. You know what? Tell me a little bit of, what it takes to be consistent recruitment wise, Ben.
Yeah, I think it's constant communication. We had an agent that joined us after a year of being contacted by my operations manager, just pinging them. So we look in broker metrics to determine what production that they have, and we just need to make sure that we stay at top of mind. And those little things that we do make a difference, because what it does is it shows those other agents that you have that interest level in them. And so just reach out. It's a DM, it's an email, it's saying, hey, here's who we are. And it's a phone call just to say, how you doing? Not to recruit. And I always tell people, I don't like being sold something. So if you want to win with me, you actually just say, hey, how can I help you? So that's what I do.
Stephanie, if you can close me out, please.
I will, yeah, for sure. I would just say it's equal parts recruiting and retention, because if you're not retaining them, if they're slipping out the back door, then you're losing your market share, right? So you always have to focus equally on both, and it's the same tactics, right? So retention is just re-recruiting your agents, and so keep that in mind and add rigor to the process, and add culture and be your human self, and you got this.
Sven Anderson, Stephanie, thank you guys very much for sharing your golden nuggets with us today. You know, again, everybody's hanging on your words, what you're doing, the time you're giving back, I think it's going to pay dividends. I want to thank Inman as well for giving us this platform to share with our industry. With that being said, I think our time is up. And or maybe
Shout out to you, George, for basically running this thing, keeping us
Sure.
on point. We appreciate
Got
it,
the
bud.
energy. Totally. It was fun. I'm happy to do it.
listen, for me, my best learning, my education, the University of Real Estate is really here with my peers talking about real estate at the speed of now. So for me, you know, it's an honor to be here. And again, I can't think of a better place than here, you know, to be sharpening my tools with you guys, to be honest with you.
Hopefully we'll all be in person next time.
I know.
But listen, on stage and then after on the way to a bar, hopefully for a toast on Sven. If you saw his sales history last year, you know it's on him for sure.
Let it rip.
Thanks, guys.